Hey everyone, welcome to Valrex Gaming. Today I'm going to go over one of my replays for Elyrion, because I know I have some friends who like to play Elyrion. So I want to go over a brief guide of how to play Elyrion. So I got this game pulled up. It was a lot of people in kind of a smallish map, but I think that it really plays into Illyrion's strengths here on this map. Let's see, it doesn't tell me. There we go. 324 lakes. So Elyrion is a really good early game tribe. In my opinion, I think Elyrion is great early game, and then they struggle mid game because they can't like chop forests, and so their economy kind of struggles. But then late game, once they've built up dragons, they can hit really hard. And we'll see that in this game. The first thing that you have to learn as Elyrion is the Polytaur push. It is required if you're going to play this tribe, because it is how you expand quickly. It is how you go aggro with these guys. So you see here, if I hit play, I move south, and then I build a Polytaur. In this case, a demon. And it moves him off of it in the direction that he was moving. So you can get double the movement while building an extra unit and not having to buy roads or anything like that. And it helped me discover a village, which is fantastic. But after that, go and find some villages. And the next thing that you have to learn how to do with Elyrion is how to use sanctuaries or crypts. Sanctuaries and crypts are really cool because they do get you stars, almost like some form of a trading market, at least the way they used to be. And the placement is key, and what I love about them is that they can be placed on mountains. It's one of the only like actually useful structures that you can actually place on a mountain that's blank. The other thing you have to know about Elyrion is these Polytaurs that you can create for really cheap. There's a reason that they're cheap. They hit like a truck, but man, their defense is awful. I think they only have one defense, so they're like an archer or a rider. Their benefit is that they have 15 health, but they can't really retaliate that much. So you can see right here, I discovered someone. So what I end up doing is hitting that warrior after exploring, because I want to be able to see stuff. But I know that if I get hit, I'm going to take way more damage. And so I go for first strike because I have an attack of 3. And now he's down to 2. So now if he attacks me, it will be bad for him because he'll actually end up wiping out his own unit. Here's a sanctuary placement, or in the case of the Midnight Skin, crypts. You can see all of these crypts I'm about to slap down to start gaining a huge economic boost. We got this one right here, and it's going to create 6 stars eventually, because it's surrounded by 4 forests and it attracts animals or graveyards around them, so it can be building up this force. And because I go and put a crypt on the other side that can generate 3, I have now just gave myself the potential of getting 8 more stars per turn with these 2 crypts placed down. That, and should I ever need a quick army to be raised up for cheap, all of those can be enchanted for Polytaurs, and these crypts will also replenish because now I got 2 of them. Because they attract a new thing every other turn. They attract a new animal every other turn. Gotta love it when the lighting situation changes. Cloudy day today. So you can use these to really gain an amazing economical advantage at the beginning, because not a lot of people are making stars at the beginning. And that's why I say they're kind of weaker mid-game, because mid-game people kind of start to rival you as far as economics come in. But then Elyrion and their dragons is what tips that tide in late game. Another thing that we have to go over as Elyrion is their kind of awesome passive that they get, being able to see ruins. That's what these little rainbow diamonds are in the fog. And a lot of pro players will keep track of these ruin placements because they will know when an opponent has taken them. and therefore know their positions. Really good when you need to know what part of the map they started on, or if you're playing multiplayer, like in this game, for example, you can start to kind of figure out where your opponents are. And it's also good for movement because you know where you should move to go and get stuff quickly. So for example, over here in this part, I know that I'm going to be sending him to go and get those ruins. I know it's land, and I know not a lot of people like to go over there on these edges. So I didn't take an explorer for that reason, because I didn't want to have to send someone where it would be useful to go. And down here in the south, I thought that I could just keep applying slow pressure to Samanti with my Polytaurs down here. And I think eventually it kind of does work out in the end because he was so focused on this. But it was mostly just because he was so pigeonholed into that bottom part that he was just focusing on me. So here's an example of just being able to have lots of units early game from the Polytaurs has helped me. You see, I got this massive invasion of hexapods. Oh no, big bug infestation. Well, because Polytaurs hit so hard, they really don't need much to take out a hexapod. So one hit and they're done. So bug infestation taken care of very quickly. And if I needed more, I could have just enchanted more Polytaurs for 2 stars and gotten them. Wow, good job to my neighbor over there getting the first egg out. Getting dragons out really quickly is very important for Elyrion. You can see I'm taking my sweet time over here, just trying to deal with Samanti on both sides, and Samanti in the north and Samanti in the south. That's why I made allies with that Elyrion player, because I didn't want to have to deal with him at the moment. On my capital, I took population growth because I knew I'd be connecting to other cities eventually, and I could use that to get my egg out. What an interesting turn of events right there. So you can see I got invaded by the South Samanti player, but I send him a truce request because I was starting to feel the pressure a little bit from Elyrion, but interestingly enough, he accepts it, and that negates the capture, which I think is funny. I also figured that I could help the Samanti player push against Elyrion himself and he can get some territory there. Because you see Elyrion, he's got 2 crabs over there, swordsmen. The Elyrion player's well armed. You see, I took meditation on this turn because the next turn I want to try and get philosophy so I can start actually like researching, building eco, because I'm in a comfortable spot with being allied with my closest neighbors and still being able to take territory against Imo up north. And you see I put this crypt on a mountain so that it can not take up a resource tile next to the city that wasn't too important. Again, blank mountains are good for nothing, except with Elyrion, we can put crypts and sanctuaries on them. Now it can start to be making me 2 extra stars per turn. Speaking of not taking up space with resource tiles, it's the same reason why I put my monuments on water, because ports are kind of expensive, 7 stars for only 1 population point. So I put my monuments on water so that they aren't taking space where I could go and grow something or do something else with it, because water can only be either a port or a temple or a monument. So I use that to build. Wow. So yeah, you can really see that the Elyrion and the Elyrion player are friends, because you see down here, he sent his dragon to go clear all that fog. Wonder what he sees. Holy cow, you see a lot. You can see all kinds of stuff. Took lots of explorers, I can tell. No, there's forges at each of these spots. He's just flown around and looked around. It's all a naval battle right here down in the south right now. And I'm just using basic units up here for the most part. So nothing too different from normal gameplay. Other than that, I did get to use my Polytaur right there to siege that city because it has 3 attack. So I used my other units to weaken that walled warrior. And the Polytaur is able to capture because of its 3 attack. You see with this naval engagement, trying to do as much damage as I can, and then I build a new rammer and put him right there purely for zone of control. Alright, so we move some turns ahead, just so we can see my now assault on Elyrion and Samanti that I'm trying to do. Because now I have dragons. I got 2 fire dragons. So fire dragons are one of the best units in the whole game because they fly, ignore terrain, and do a really strong AoE damage attack. But their problem is they only have 20 health, so you have to watch them very carefully and pull them back if they're in danger. So you'll see the way I move my dragons is in a way to do the maximum amount of damage while still ensuring their safety. See, I clear all those units away, so now there's space between him and the other units. Except for that dragon right there that I put right next to the crab. See that? That's not smart. Don't do that. But I got really lucky because my opponent was like, oh, I want to explore a mountain instead. But see, as he starts to take damage, I pull that dragon back. I say, nope. Just trying to do as much splash damage as possible. And even baby dragons are useful too. They're basically warriors, or they're basically riders with a little more damage. They do 3, I think. Yeah, I didn't use my dragons too smart back there. I was trying to do as much damage as possible with the splash damage just to clear out all of those bugs. And in so doing, I leave them exposed and allow him to get more poison off. So now I'm only left with 1 dragon at this point. That, and another thing that you want to, with your baby dragons, it's not great that he's poisoned, but it is okay to take some damage with your baby dragons because when they evolve into fire dragons, they basically get free heals. Watch this baby dragon right here. Bam. 20 up. Now here's an example of good dragon play. So we move him over here, and he gets hit, and he got hit by a boosted Dumux and used poison. 1 health left. Get him out of there. We don't need to lose another dragon. And there are some basics for how to play Elyrion. Let me know if that's a helpful guide for you, and let me know if there's any other tricks that you have found that would be great to talk about with Elyrion so that you can dominate even more in the game, the Battle of Polytopia. Be sure to check back every week. We got new videos, so subscribe if you want to be informed. And let me know if you like this video with a thumbs up. And we'll talk to you later. Thanks.